right. Who are we talking to next?
Do you want to try Brandon again? See if he's back on the line?
Sure, why not?
Brandon.
Brandon in North Carolina.
Hey.
Hey, what did you want to talk about today?
Well, I just wanted to ask a question about, I guess, moral authority. Just to give a little bit of a background, there was somebody posted some quote by like Tim Keller or somebody about the Bible.
Oh, Tim.
Being the ultimate authority, all that kind of stuff, and that's not really that's not where I want to go with that. But I tried to talk to this person a little bit, and got to the point where they were finally saying, well, if there's no moral authority, then you can just do whatever you want. And now, personally, I've been able to kind of deal with that myself. I guess the way that I think about that. But I guess what I'm trying to see, I want to see if there's a little bit of, if I could just get some feedback, where you guys would take that, so I can, I guess, be a little more well prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me. Brandon, this is one of my pet peeves, this question that a lot of Christians tend to throw at you. Well, how do you know anything? And how can you be moral at all? And I would give a caveat here. So like, if they were like, if you do not have an ultimate source of morality, such as God, then you can do anything you want. And I would say, yes. But let's add on to that implication that you are not saying that we both understand, so that's going to help us clarify. So what they are actually saying is not that you can do whatever you want, like we've been chained up and finally like we actually have the personal autonomy to go out into the world and get a hamburger. They're saying you can do whatever you want without worrying about hell, right? Like that's the implication at the end of that statement. You can do whatever you want and you will not have a comeuppance after you die, right? Or maybe you will not feel convicted and guilty. Or, there's an additional component there that nobody is pointing out explicitly, and we need to if we're going to get somewhere, because I would agree with that, right? If there's no moral authority, if God doesn't exist, then I can do whatever I want without the fear of hell. Is that my only motivation for doing things? Because that's the crux of the argument. It's not, can I do whatever I want? Yes, regardless, I can do whatever I want. It's the second half. Okay, well, why can't you do whatever you want? Is it because you think that there is a hell? Okay, well, now let's talk about that, because that's the crux of the issue. How are you being motivated to do moral things, and what structure have you put around yourself to guide your own actions, and how does that maybe conflict with or conflate with mine? So there's there's a second half of the conversation that never happens, and everyone just like assumes that everyone understands, but it's like, no, if you are telling me that I can do whatever I want and not be afraid of hell, then yes, you are correct. And
yeah, and I would love to tie in. There are even more issues. Like this is flawed on multiple levels. So I'll just give two. One of them is the structure. If you were to look at the structure of it, what is it? It's whataboutism. It doesn't matter. I'll give you an example. The Holocaust couldn't have happened because if it did, that would be really bad. Are you now convinced? Is that evidence that the Holocaust didn't happen? No. If someone is appealing to, well, this can't be true, otherwise that's bad, it doesn't matter. Bad things happen. You got to deal with it. You can't wrap your view of the world and reality around, well, if not, then oh no. That's just not how that works. And then the other point that I wanted to bring up is they are using morality in this case, this absolute morality as a prescriptive definition. They're acting as if morality is being prescribed to us, that it is something that we are receiving externally and that it is being directed at us. And the fact is, we're describing what's already going on. We're describing our social dynamic. It's descriptive. When you're looking at it from that proscriptive lens, totally understandable. But you have to understand that the way we study morality, the way we talk about morality, the way that we have seen how things change over time, these are all descriptions, not proscriptions. And trying to switch the two is moving the goalposts, and it doesn't belong. So I don't know. I hope some of that helps. What do you think, Brandon? Uh-oh.
Hello.
We may have lost Brandon.
Brandon, check to see if you're on mute, because you're fine on our end.
Well,
oh, that's a bummer.
Hopefully he heard, and if not, listen back and
give us a call back if you want to talk more.
Definitely.
Oh, that's a bummer. But yeah, I think there are so many different directions to take it, but just making sure, regardless, that people are actually explicitly saying what they mean and not relying on inference or cultural understanding, because that's where we can get stuck in the weeds. If you can get them to say exactly what they are actually trying to say, then we can actually have that conversation.
All right. I entirely agreed.
Yeah.